Hi, and welcome to Adobe Flash CS4, the software that allows you to add entertaining animations to enhance a professional environment, or just enhance your entertainment at home on your free time. By the end of this video and the end of this series, you should have a better understanding and a basic knowledge of how to properly add animations in Flash with motions and eventually sound. But before we begin, let's make sure you're ready with our prerequisite checklist. Now before we begin, let's go over some things we went over in the last video. First, we showed you how to create a shape by clicking the Shapes tool on the left side of the screen and then adding it to the canvas by click, hold, and dragging and releasing the mouse. When we were finished modifying our shapes, we then converted them to symbols by highlighting the shapes and then control-clicking the mouse to bring the drop box with the Convert to Symbol options, allowing us to properly name each object. Finally, we used our Q button shortcut to move our pivot points, which allowed us to move our character's points of movements for more natural-looking motions. Now in this second segment of our three-part series, we're going to be focusing on two things. One of which is adding the bone tool to our character. The second is adding motions to our character, which is going to bring our character to life. So in picking up where we had last left off, which was just setting our pivot points and our symbols, let's get started. Called the bone tool. If you look to the left side of your screen along all the icons in pretty much the very center of the screen, you're going to see a little bone here. Now it should say bone tool. It should not say bind tool. If you click down and hold on the bone tool, you'll see there's different types of tools you can unlock here. We don't want the bind tool, we want the bone tool. So release your cursor on the bone tool, like so. Okay? Now the bone tool is highlighted, which is what we want. Now what I want you to do is zoom in just a little bit. We'll go, we're going to highlight it and type in 300. Because I want you to hold down the mouse on the upper part of the body. Hold your mouse down, and you'll see the bone tool appears when you hold the mouse down. And I want you to drag it up to the head to where the pivot point was. If you can't really remember, just guess, but the point should just snap in place. And that's right there. Okay, we're good. Now you'll see that some of the parts we had just brought to the front have now moved to the back. Don't panic, that's okay, that's normal. We're going to make sure we have our bone tool selected. You're going to click at least in this circle right here. Click somewhere in there. I prefer to just make it accurate and click right in the middle of that little purple dot you see. You're going to move it to the bone tool. You'll see right there it snaps right in place where the bone tool was for the, or where the pivot point was for the upper arm. So you'll move it here and it should snap right in place. There you go. And release your mouse. Now for the other shoulder, you're going to do the same thing. Click, hold, and drag, and it snaps right in place. You can release your mouse. So now the head and shoulders are set. Now we need to set the upper arm down to the lower arm. So it's the same exact thing. You're going to click, hold your click down, and drag it and drop it right where the pivot point was. The same thing on this side. Release your mouse. Okay, now the final move is to go from the big circle from the original point we started. Click, hold, and we're going to move it down to the hip. Down here. And it's snapped right into place. Right there. And release your mouse. So now we're going to go back up here, hit the selection tool. Click over here. Your body should be able to move in different areas. Your head should move. The arm should move. This arm should move. Just make sure all the limbs work. That part moves. That part moves. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're going to go up here. We're going to zoom out. We're just going to hit Fit in Window just to look at everything. Okay? So the head moves. The arms move. Everything moves. Everything is in place. If something's not working, you're going to have to go back and make sure you did all the right processes. Usually what happens is people don't make certain objects assemble properly. So if something's not working for you, you might want to look into that. So now that your skeleton is moved here, you should look up here into the timeline and see that your armature has appeared. If your armature did not appear after you've made the skeleton, go back and re-add the skeleton again. You can hit the skeleton sections and delete them if you wanted to, and then re-drag them down. But in this case, our armature has appeared, our skeleton works, and we are in good shape. So the first thing I want you to do is come down to your character and grab the tip of the lower right arm, like so. Click, hold, and I kind of want you to drag it down first to get the lower or the upper arm closer to the body. Then I want you to kind of swing it around like so and pull it down. Okay? And it may take you a few tries to get the arm exactly how you want it. We want our lower arm at a 45-degree angle roughly. So and feel free to pause this video till you can get the lower arm at the proper angle you want. You might have to play with it for a second. And do the same thing for this arm that you had done for this arm. Okay, so now that you have your arms at a 45-degree angle, the lower arm, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your cursor back up to the timeline. I want you to click on the 7th frame. And you'll know it's the 7th frame because you'll see that every 5th frame is highlighted in gray. Okay? So go to the very first frame. You'll see your timeline tracker right here in red. And you'll see the 5th frame right here. Now simply count 2 boxes over. 1, 2. When you're on the 7th frame, you'll know you are because I want you to hit the F5 button on the top of your keyboard once. Okay? And you'll know you're on the 7th frame because if you go right here, you'll see a little 7 on your frame counter. And when you're on the 7th frame, make sure that your timeline tracker, you can move it here. You can click, hold, and drag it to move it to whatever frame you want. But always be sure to move your timeline tracker to the frame you're working on, or else you're going to have motions everywhere. In this case, I want you to move your tracker the whole way to the end. You can release your mouse and it stays. And on this layer, on this frame, I want you to go back down to your character, and I want you to take his arms and place them over his head like so. Both arms. Same thing for this one. Click, hold, and drag. Okay? Something like that. Okay, now we're going to do almost the opposite of what we have just done. Only the first thing I want you to do is go up to the top of the screen, and I want you to click on the 14th frame. Okay? Here's 15, so we're going to go back 1. Click right there once, and once again hit F5 on your keyboard. Alright? You'll see it's made a new work area. I want you to have that red timeline tracker on the 14th frame. You'll know it is because it's on 14 right here. So I want you to go down here. I want you to click off to the side once just to get it deselected. Take the tip of his arm, click, hold, and drag, and I want you to put it to the same exact area we had it in the first frame. And you can check to see where it was by holding the timeline tracker and moving it backwards like so. Click, hold, and drag, and it moves your arms back. And then you can go back to the spot we want. Okay? Now, make sure it's on the 14th frame, and we're going to do the opposite of what we just did. Grab the end of his arm, and we're going to move his arm back down to his body and keep it at that 45-degree angle like we had for the first frame for both arms. Click, hold, and drag. And release. Now please continue moving your character's arms every 7 frames up and down until you've reached the 100th frame in the timeline. When you've hit the 100th frame, please move your cursor to the top left-hand corner of the screen, click File and Save As, and save it in a place where you'll know where to find it the next time you have to open up your project. Now by the end of your 3rd and final video, you're going to be adding a music track and putting the finishing touches in your animation. And I'm going to be giving you a little sneak peek on what it should look like.